for later. Is Wayne going to be joining us? On the-
Yes.
Okay. Oh, there he is. How's your wrist? How's your whole wrist? No, no, no. It's going to be your arm. Oh, I got a shot last week. Did it help? Oh. So I'm looking at this. Shabbat Shalom,
Shabbat Shalom.
and welcome to Monmouth Reformed Temple. I'm Rabbi Leslie Bergson, happy to be subbing for Rabbi Mark Klein over there in the back row. And we begin this evening on page 129 with the song Ki Eshmera Shabbat.
I was just thinking that our back row is filled with rabbis.
I was noticing that. Yeah. We actually have a Beit Din here if anybody needs one.
All right. We should advertise that. So Ki Eshmera Shabbat is on page 129, as Rabbi Bergson said, and it's the second to last song offering on the page. And it's a beautiful idea that when we keep Shabbat, God is close to us, and that's a sign between us and God. Ki Eshmera Shabbat El Yishmereni, Ki Eshmera Shabbat El Yishmereni, Oti Le'ol Me'ad Beino Uveini, Oti Le'ol Me'ad Beino Uveini, Ki Eshmera Shabbat El Yishmereni, Ki Eshmera Shabbat El Yishmereni.
We turn to page 120 for blessing the candles and Kiddush.
And we invite Sheila and Colonel Jim Levitt to lead us in the blessings. Have to use a match. Yeah. Well, can you do it? It might have this too.
I mean, yeah, well, I like that.
Okay.
That's good.
Okay.
Like that. Okay. All right. As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we by our lives give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we in our own day be among those who kindle light. Okay. Oh. Thank you. Okay. Yeah. Thank you. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahadlik ner shel Shabbat.
The heaven and the earth were finished, in all their array. On the seventh day, God finished the work that God had been doing, and God ceased on the seventh day from all work that God had done. And God blessed the seventh day and declared it holy, because on it God ceased from all the work of creation that God had done.
Okay, everybody take a glass of juice.
I thought it was wine.
It's been out for so long, it probably is wine.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu mitzvotav, v'ratzah banu, v'shabbat kodsho, v'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu, zikaron l'maaseh v'reishit, ki hu yom tehillah l'mikra'ei kodesh, zecher l'tziat Mitzrayim, ki banu b'charta, v'otanu l'kidasha, mikol ha'amim, v'shabbat kodesh be'ahava uvratzon hinchaltanu. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh haShabbat. Amen. L'chaim.
L'chaim.
Thank you both so much.
His 83rd birthday is Wednesday.
Oh, really?
A Thursday.
Can I say so?
You can. Why
Jim
not?
is celebrating a special birthday on Wednesday. And
Happy birthday, Jim.
Yep. Glad you've been around all these years, Jim. What's your favorite cake, Jim? He doesn't eat cake, right? Sugar-free.
All right.
Yeah. Oh, well. William, it's your birthday?
Today?
Did you
Today or when?
28? Oh, well,
Neat.
happy birthday, Jim and William.
Wow.
It's magnificent news.
A lot of simcha around here. We turn to page 124 at the bottom of the page. May the door of this synagogue be wide enough to receive all who hunger for love, all who are lonely for friendship. May it welcome all who have cares to unburden, thanks to express, hopes to nurture. May the door of this synagogue be narrow enough to shut out pettiness and pride, envy and enmity. May its threshold be no stumbling block to young or straying feet. May it be too high to admit complacency, selfishness, and harshness. May this synagogue be, for all who enter, the doorway to a richer and more meaningful life. We turn to page 146 and rise for Baruch Hu.
Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed.
Praise Adonai, to whom praise is due forever. Praise be Adonai, to whom praise is due now and forever. On page 149. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows. Your wisdom sets the way on which time and season glide. Your breath guides the sail of the stars, creator of the time of tide and light. You guide the current of day into night. As heaven spans to infinity, you set its course for eternity. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows. Baruch atah Adonai Hama'ariv Aravim. On 151. As you taught Torah to those whose names I bear, teach me Torah too. Its mystery beckons, yet I struggle with its truth. You meant Torah for me. Did you mean the struggle for me too? Don't let me struggle alone. Help me to understand, to be wise, to listen, to know. lead me into the mystery. Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed.
Please be seated.
Be'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavecha b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol me'odecha v'hayu advarim ha'ele asher Anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam V'shivtecha b'beitecha, u'v'leftecha b'derech, u'v'shachvecha u'v'kumecha, u'kshartam le'ot al yadecha, v'hayu letotafot b'einecha, u'chtavtam al mezuzot beitecha, u'v'isharecha, leman tizkeru, ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני, אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני, אדוני אלוהיכם.
We turn to page 157 at the top of the page. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands, marching together.
Micha mocha Ba'elim Adonai, Micha mocha, Nedar ba'kodesh, Nora, Tehilot, Osei, Vele, Nora, Tehilot, Osei, Vele, Micha mocha, ba'elim Adonai, Micha mocha, nedar ba'kodesh.
The Hashkivenu, which is found on page 160, is only said in the evening as God puts a sukkah of peace over us in evening time. Grant, O God, that we lie down in peace and raise us up, our guardian, to life renewed. Spread over us the shelter of your peace. Guide us with your good counsel. For your name's sake, be our help. Shield and shelter us beneath the shadow of your wings. Defend us against enemies, illness, war, famine, and sorrow. Distance us from wrongdoing. For you, God, watch over us and deliver us. For you, God, are gracious and merciful. Guard our going and coming to life and peace evermore. Blessed are you, Adonai, guardian of Israel, whose shelter of peace is spread over us, over all your people Israel, and over Jerusalem. Baruch atah Adonai, haporesh sukat shalom aleinu, v'al kol amo Yisrael, v'al Yerushalayim.
And we rejoice in the Sabbath with the singing of Yismechu
On the bottom of page 162.
Yismechu b'malachutecha Shomrei, Shomrei, Shomrei Shabbat V'korei Oneg Shabbat, Shabbat Yismechu b'malachutecha Shomrei, Shomrei, Shomrei Shabbat, Korei Oneg Shabbat. Mekadeshei, Mekadeshei Shevi Shabbat, Shabbat, Kulam Yishbehu, Ve'yitangu mitu v'chashabat, Yismechu v'malachutecha, Shomrei, Shomrei, Shomrei Shabbat, Korei Oneg Shabbat, Shabbat, Yismechu b'malachutecha, Shomrei, Shomrei, Shomrei Shabbat, Korei Oneg Shabbat. V'hashvi ratzita bo v'kidashto Shabbat, Shabbat, Chemdat Yamim, Oto Krata Shabbat. Yismechu v'malachutecha, Shomrei, Shomrei, Shomrei Shabbat, Korei Oneg Shabbat, Shabbat, Yismechu v'malachutecha, Shomrei, Shomrei, Shomrei Shabbat, Korei Oneg Shabbat. Zecher L'maaseh Bereshit Shabbat, Shabbat. Zecher L'maaseh Bereshit Shabbat. Yismechu v'malachutecha, Shomrei, Shomrei, Shomrei Shabbat, Korei Oneg Shabbat, Shabbat. Yismechu v'malachutecha, Shomrei, Shomrei, Shomrei Shabbat, Korei Oneg Shabbat.
We turn to page 164 and rise for the Amidah.
Adonai
Sefatai
Sefatai
tiftachu
Ufi Yagid Tehilatecha. Adonai, open my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah. Ha'el hagadol hagibor v'hanora, El Elyon, gomel chasadim tovim, v'konei hakol, v'zoher chasdei avot v'imahot, מביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה. מלך עוזר ומושיע מגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם בעזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיה כל אתה, רב להושיע, מוריד הטל. מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ואופך עולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר, מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומידו מלך. מלך ממית ומחיה ומצליח ישועה ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל ברוך אתה אדוני מחיה הכל אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
You may be seated. Days pass and the years vanish, and we walk sightless among miracles. God, fill our eyes with seeing and our minds with knowing. Let there be moments when your presence, like lightning, illumines the darkness in which we walk. Help us to see wherever we gaze that the bush burns unconsumed. And we, clay touched by God, will reach out for holiness and exclaim in wonder, how filled with awe is this place, and we did not know it. Blessed is the Eternal One, the Holy God. Baruch atah Adonai ha'el hakadosh. On page 173, may these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day, and may this day fulfill its promise. Baruch atah Adonai, Mekadesh HaShabbat.
And we sing together our Song of Peace on page 178.
Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Le'olam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Le'olam. Ki atahu melech Adon lechol hashalom. Ki atahu melech Adon lechol hashalom. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Le'olam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Le'olam. V'tov beinecha levarech et amcha Yisrael b'chol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Le'olam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Le'olam. Tasim Le'olam. Tasim Le'olam.
We take some moments for silent meditation.
Ose shalom b'mama, uyase shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, imru amen. Yase shalom, yase shalom, shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, yase shalom, yase shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael.
We continue with the Torah service on page 364. Please rise.
Susharim Rosheichem v'chinasu pitchei olam ve'yavo melech hakavod Mehuze melech hakavod, Adonai tzvaot, umelech hakavod, Selah, umelech hakavod, Selah, Selah. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh Shemo. Lecha Adonai ha'gedula, ha'gevura, ha'tiferet, ha'nitzach v'ha'od. Ki chol b'shamayim u'va'aretz, ki chol b'shamayim u'va'aretz. Lecha Adonai ha'malacha, ha'miknasi, lechol rosh. Al shlosha devarim, al shlosha devarim,
Al shlosha devarim ha'olam omer.
Please be seated. We invite Lynn Dietrich and Jim Dietrich to lead us in the Torah blessings.
You got your blessings?
Yes.
Okay.
And,
starting from here.
We're going to be on page 1312 in the Red Torah commentary.
Baruch Hu Adonai Hamvarach.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Asher bacharanu mikol hamim. V'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Perfect. Amen. Ele hadvarim. Asher diber Moshe el kol Yisrael be'ever hayarden bamidbar ba'arava mohsuf ben paran uven tofel v'lavan v'chatzerot v'dizahav Achad asar yom mecharev derech har seir Ad Kadesh Barnea, Vayehi ba'arba'im shana, ba'aste eser chodesh, be'echad lachodesh, diber Moshe el b'nei Yisrael, kechol, asher tziva Adonai, oto alehem, acharei hakoto, et Sichon melech ha'emori, asher yoshev b'cheshbon, ve'et Og melech habashan, asher yoshev be'eshtoret be'edrei. Be'ever hayarden be'eretz Moav, ho'il Moshe be'er, et haTorah hazot lemor. Adonai Eloheinu, diber eleinu bechoreb lemor. Rav lachem shevet b'harazeh, penu usa'u lachem, uvo'u har ha'emori, v'al kol shchenav, ba'arava bahar, uvashfela uvanegev, uvachof hayam, eretz hakanani v'halvanon, ad hanahar hagadol, nahar parat.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torat emet, v'chaye olam natav b'tochenu, Baruch atah Adonai, noten haTorah.
Amen. Beautifully done. Shkoach.
Wayne's going to come help you.
Oh, he can't. can't lift any better than I can.
Well, then I'm coming over. Wait, I'm going to open
No,
it up.
okay.
I'm going to show 3 columns
Really?
with the seam in the middle. Yeah. All right. Please rise. V'zot ha'Torah asher sa Moshe lifnei bnei Yisrael al pi Adonai b'yad Moshe. V'zot ha'Torah asher sa Moshe lifnei bnei Yisrael al pi Adonai b'yad Moshe. Lie, 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 lie.
Lie, 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 lie,
Lie, lie,
Do you want me to
lie.
sit up in the sand?
Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Would you hold and stand next to Leslie? Thank you. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Sorry. Do you need me to do something?
Yeah. Well,
Okay. Here we go.
He's got a bad wrist.
Oh, yeah.
That's all right.
Are you okay?
I'm fine.
Okay, okay.
I'm not going to fight.
You know, you made me come over.
I was
I enjoy your
worried.
company.
Okay, well, I'm sorry. Sorry about that.
Okay.
Here we go.
We pray for those who need our prayers for healing. Rabbi Robert Orick, Lorraine Rothman, James Appio, Joe Katz, Ed Itz, Tim Mish, Vicki Bernstein, and
Andrew Davidson, Richard Biernacki.
Sandy Jessup.
Mishaberach Avotenu Avraham Yitzchak v'Yaakov v'Imotenu Sarah Rivka Rachel v'Leah Hu Yivarech v'Yirapeh Tacho Limahem HaKadosh Baruch Hu Yamalei Rachamim Aleihem Lahachalimam Ulirapotam Lahachazikam Ulahachyotam Vayishlach Bimhera Refuah Shalema Refuah Tanefesh Refuah Haguf B'toch Sh'ar Cholei Yisrael B'agalav Zman Kariv v'Nomar Amen.
We sing together in the middle of 371.
Mishaberach Avotenu Mekor HaBracha Deimotenu.
May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us,
help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Mishaberach Imotenu Mekor HaBracha Deimotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shalema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. We return the Torah to the ark. Ki lekachto natati lachem torati al ta'azovu etz chayim hi lamachazikim ba v'tomechera me'ushar derachecha nachenoam mechon tivotecha shalom ashivenu Adonai elecha v'nashuva adei shamenu kekedem adei shamenu kekedem.
The Torah and Haftarah portions for this week appear to be looking in opposite directions. This Shabbat is the last one before Tisha B'Av. On Tisha B'Av, we commemorate the destruction of both temples in Jerusalem and many other calamitous events in Jewish history. It is called Shabbat Chazon, Sabbath of the Vision, for its Haftarah, the vision of Isaiah in which the prophet foresees the destruction of Jerusalem and its eventual restoration. The Torah portion, on the other hand, is about looking back. This last book of the Torah, Deuteronomy, which we have begun to read this week, is Moses' reflection on his years of leading the Jewish people now that they are getting ready to enter the land, and he knows that he will not live to lead them in. Scholars generally divide Deuteronomy into three parts. All three of them are spoken in Moses' own voice, and they're generally referred to as the three discourses. In the first, beginning with tonight's Torah portion, Moses recounts the 40 years wandering in the wilderness. The second is a review of laws, and the third is his farewell address to the people Israel. The whole of the book of Deuteronomy is Moses' ethical will, addressed not to his own children, who, frankly, we haven't heard a word about since Exodus 18, but to the children of Israel. I'm a hospice chaplain. I spend a lot of time talking to people who are at the end of their lives. Many of them understand that there is a time in life for doing things, and then there is a time when it is appropriate to look back, to see what you've accomplished, to wonder what your impact has been upon this world, and to provide guidance and instruction from what you've learned to those who will come after. Writing ethical wills, savaot, is a remarkable custom of Jews throughout the ages, and there's been recently a renewed interest in them. An ethical will is a document in which the writer apportions his or her spiritual legacy rather than material goods. As Rabbi Jack Reamer points out in his preface to the book Ethical Wills and How to Prepare Them, an ethical will is a difficult thing to write. One has to look hard at one's own life and cull the essential truths from it. It can also be a hard thing to receive. Instructions from the great beyond may be burdensome or even impossible to fulfill. But to read them is also difficult in that we are, in a sense, eavesdropping on a personal letter that was not addressed to us. But it gives us a sense of continuity of Jewish values across the miles and the years. The ethical wills contained in Reamer's volume are from the modern era and are divided into 4 sections: traditional wills, wills from the Holocaust, from Israel, and from America, and then a last section including 3 fictional ethical wills from Jewish literature. All of them are greatly varied, of course, according to time, place, and individual. But 2 in particular, I think, speak to the Torah reading that we read tonight and to the Haftarah that follows it, and I would like to read them to you. The first was written in the era of the Holocaust. It was printed in the newspaper of the Warsaw-Krakow ghetto and was simply signed, "Your Mother." If Moses or Isaiah had been short on time, they could have summed up the essence of Judaism with this mother's words. Judaism, my child, is the struggle to bring down God upon earth, a struggle for the sanctification of the human heart. This struggle your people wages not with physical force, but with spirit, with sincere, heartfelt prayers, and by constant striving for truth and justice. So do you understand, my child, how we are distinct from others and wherein lies the secret of our existence on earth? Knowing this, will your heart still be heavy, my child? Will you still say you cannot stand your fate? But you must, my child, for so you were commanded. It is your calling. This is your mission, your purpose on earth. You must go to work alongside people of other nations, and you will teach them that they must come to a brotherhood of nations and a union of all nations with God. You may ask, how does one speak to them? This is how. Thou shalt not murder, thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not covet, love thy neighbor as thyself. Do these things, and through their merit, my child, you will be victorious. Summary of Judaism in very few words. And the other comes from Israel in a more contemporary and a happier time. It was written by Dvorah Weissman, whose family made Aliyah from Australia. As I write this, I am sitting on my Jerusalem balcony, looking through a tracery of pine trees at the view along Rehov Rupin. I can see the Knesset, the Israel Museum, and the Shrine of the Book, that architectural marvel resembling a woman's tilted breast that houses the Dead Sea Scrolls. I am at an age where I should write a will, but the disposition of my material possessions would take just a few lines. They do not amount to much. Had we stayed in Australia, where you, my 4 children, were born, they would be much more. I hope you won't blame me for this. For now, you are Israelis, and I have different things to leave you. I hope you will understand that they are more valuable than money in the bank, stocks and bonds, and plots of land, for no one can ever take them away from you. I am leaving you the fragrance of a Jerusalem morning, unforgettable perfume of thyme, sage, and rosemary that wafts down from the Judean hills, the heartbreaking sunsets that give way to Jerusalem at night, splashes of gold on black velvet darkness, the feel of Jerusalem's stone, ancient and mellow, in the buildings that surround you, the piquant taste of hummus, tahina, falafel, foods we never knew about before we came here to live. I am leaving you an extended family, the whole house of Israel. They are your people. They will celebrate with you in joy, grieve with you in sorrow. You will argue with them, criticize them, and sometimes reject them. That's the way it is with families. But underneath, you will be proud of them and love them. More important, when you need them, they will be there. I am leaving you the faith of your forefathers. Here, no one will ever laugh at your beliefs, call you Jew as an insult. My sons, you can wear kippot and tzitzit if you so wish. My daughters, you can modestly cover your hair after marriage if that is what you decide. No one will ridicule you. You can be as religious or as secular as you wish, knowing it is based on your own convictions and not because of what the, this is in quotes, goyim might say. You have your heritage, written with the blood of your people through countless generations. Guard it well and cherish it. It is priceless. I am leaving you pride. Hold your head high. This is your country, your birthright. Try to do your share to enhance its image. It may call for sacrifice, but it will be worth it. Your children, their children, and all who come after will thank you for it. I am leaving you memories. Some are sad, the early struggles to adapt to a new country, a new language, a new culture. But remember, too, the triumphs, the feeling of achievement when you were accepted, when they became us. That is worth more than silver trophies and gold medals. You did it alone. You made it. And so, my children, I have only one last bequest. I leave you my love and my blessing. I hope you will never again need to say next year in Jerusalem. You are already there. How rich you are. Could Moses, standing on the heights of Mount Pisgah, have seen this far? Could Isaiah have foreseen that his prophetic vision of a world where social justice and right action had to precede ritual would find expression in the words of a woman in the Warsaw Ghetto? Or that the Jerusalem that would be destroyed so soon after his time would be a place that Jews call home in our time? My teacher, Rabbi Louis Barth, once pointed out to my rabbinic school class that Jewish culture focuses on the past and the future, and this focus is represented in Hebrew grammar. In Hebrew, the future and past tenses are full, correct grammatical tenses. The present is not really a tense at all, just an active participle. He said that the culmination of the Jewish attitude toward time is contained in the verse, Chadesh Yameinu Kekedem, renew our days as of old, or make us new like we used to be. These words, incidentally, which you probably know from the Torah service, come from the end of the book of Lamentations, which we will read on Tisha B'Av on Sunday. Looking forward and backward at the same time is not disorienting. Rather, it is the way we find our footing in the present. Shabbat Shalom.
Thank you, Rabbi.
We are gifts and we are blessings. We are history in song. We are hope and we are healing. We are learning to be strong. We are words and we are stories. We are pictures of the past. We are carriers of wisdom, not the first and not the last. L'dor vador nagid God lecha. L'dor vador we protect this chain. From generation to generation, L'dor vador, these lips will praise your name. Looking back on the journey that we carry in our heart, from the shadow of the mountain to the waters that would part. We are blessed and we are holy. We are children of your way. And the words that bring us meaning, we will have the strength to say. L'dor vador nagid God lecha. L'dor vador we protect this chain. From generation to generation, L'dor vador, these lips will praise your name.
I'll find the page in a minute. On page 586, we turn to Aleinu and Rise.
Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, l'atei gedula le'otzer bereshit, shehu noteh shamayim b'yotzer haaretz, u'moshav yikaro b'shamayim mimahal, u'shchinat uzo b'govhei meromim, hu Eloheinu ein hod, v'anachnu korim, u'mishtachavim u'modim, לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו ושמו אחד.
Please be seated.
It is a fearful thing to love what death can touch, a fearful thing to love, hope, dream, to be, and oh, to lose. A thing for fools, this, and a holy thing to love. For your life has lived in me, your laugh once lifted me, your word was gift to me. To remember this brings a painful joy. 'Tis a human thing, love, a holy thing to love what death has touched. On this Shabbat, we are commemorating the Shiva of Morton Lippitz, and we think of those who died at this time in previous years. Colonel Morton Grotenstein, Emma Heyman, Martin Scheer, Francis Gordon, Dr. Sidney Niederhofer, Glyn Stacy Waldman, Jacob Kesselman, Martin Slater, Florence Bernard. Are there additional names to be called? We turn to page 598 and rise for Kaddish. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, v'alma divarach yirutei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chaye chon uvyome chon uv'chaye dechol beit Yisrael, v'agala v'zman kari v'yimru amen. Yehi shemei Rabbah mevarach li'olam u'li'almei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalal shemei d'kudisha barichu. La'elam min kol berchata v'shirata. Tushbachata v'nechamata. Damiran v'yalma v'imru amen. Yehi shalom rabba min shemaya. V'chayim aleinu v'yal kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav. Hu yaseh shalom. Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimru amen.
Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu yaseh shalom. Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimru amen.
You may be seated. And the new president is going to give announcements.
Shabbat Shalom. I'm Wayne
Shabbat shalom.
Hallard. On behalf of Monmouth Reformed Temple, I want to welcome you and thank you for joining us tonight. We have a few announcements. Well, there's never just a few. There's usually a lot. So we have a number of announcements. To help victims of the tragic building collapse in Miami, MRT is working with the Jewish Community Services to provide financial assistance to all people who have been impacted. Please consider giving to this relief fund. The link to donate can be found in the weekly e-blast. If you're interested in working in the Gan Maison, the MRT vegetable garden, which Willie worked on it with us this Wednesday on his birthday, and a very honored member of our gardening team. There's an opportunity to volunteer and socialize every Wednesday at 5 o'clock throughout the summer. Again, check the e-blast for more information. As a part of Mary Beth Hyatt's celebration of her conversion to Judaism, she's asking for donations to a mitzvah project to benefit the center in Asbury Park. MRT will continue collecting men's undergarments, toiletries, towels, and more. A container is outside the front door of MRT. Our July virtual Tzedakah collection is supporting Shine a Light. The Shine a Light initiative installs lights on bicycles for area day workers and others. They rely on this as their principal mode of transportation. Donations will be matched by co-sponsors Dean Ross and the Social Action co-chairs Ricky Cashton and Marcia Rocklin. Torah study tomorrow at 9:30 on Zoom. Monday, the 26th, join the Adult Ed Committee for a Zoom program with about Steven Spielberg, presented by Film Shul, RSVP by July 25th. More information can be found again in the e-blast. Our synagogue continues to engage together in meaningful ways. We would love for more people to invest in our mission of helping others and connecting as a Jewish community. We welcome your investment and gift to help us to continue to grow. For information on joining our MRT family or making a donation, please contact Jordana Steinberg in our office or visit our website, www.monmouthreformtemple.org. Rabbi and Cantor are always available as well. Shabbat Shalom.
Thank you very much, Wayne. And thank you very much, Rabbi Bergson. These last 3 weeks have been a lot of fun.
And a lot of fun.
And it was really nice to have you consistently every week. That was a lot of fun for us. I know our congregation loved it very much and appreciated it very much, and I certainly do as well. And
Thank you.
and I know that that you enriched us very much by what you said tonight and gave us all some work to do, I think. As Rabbi Bergson said, we are arriving upon the very tragic event in the Jewish calendar, Tisha B'Av, when many, many calamities and destruction befell the Jewish people throughout history. And the destruction of the synagogue was one of them, the ancient synagogue. So on page 674 is a very short prayer from the Psalms, the book of Psalms. It's called By the Waters of Babylon. Now, as Rabbi Bergson reminded me, Bob Marley sang a version of it, right? And she sang that to me the other night. And it rang a bell in my head, I have to say. But then I sang with you the other one I knew, and you said that was a good one, too.
It's a good one.
It's a good one, too. So it's very sweet and simple, but it talks of this terrible sadness that our generation at that time had to witness. And I think the most important thing to remember about destruction in our history is that despite terrible destruction in our history, we are still here. We have survived, and we continue to go on. But we should not ever take for granted that we are here, and we have to continue to work to be here. So here's how it goes. I think you might know it, a lot of you. By the waters of Babylon, we lay down and wept for thee, Zion. We remember thee, Zion. By the waters of Babylon, we lay down and wept for thee, Zion. We remember thee, Zion.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
I never forget the phone.
No, I'm really, I'm good at food myself, sadly.
Okay. Shall I uncover it?
Yep. Hamotzi lechem min haaretz. We give thanks to God for bread. Our voices rise in song together as our joyful prayer is said. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz v'tei avon. All right, Shabbat Shalom. It's pre-cut. Anybody who would like a piece? It's going to be circulated throughout the sanctuary. Shabbat Shalom.
Let's give Gabby one.
Remember, I tasted it first. All right.
You had a chat.
Right, I had to check.
Make sure it was fresh.
That's right. That's it. I had to check. Thank you.